Hey guys, Ben here. Welcome to another edition of Analog Love Song. Today I have a very special treat. I'm very excited for this thing I've ordered, and it is the Final Fantasy VII vinyl for the remaster, or for the remake of the game, but also it includes some tracks from the original as well. So I'm going to be doing an unboxing of this here in a minute. Just wanted to kind of chit chat a little bit. You know, we've all been stuck inside, and so for me, it's any excuse to get dressed up. I like to have, kind of makes you feel normal, getting dressed up. So, I figured I'd be a little bit more formal today. With that aside, let's get started here on the unboxing of this vinyl. What I'm going to do is I'm going to unbox it, and then I'm going to listen to the tracks and do like a little music review for it as well. And I've never done one before, but I got ears, I got pretty good taste in music, so I'm going to listen to it, and I'll let you guys know in the second half how I felt about the quality of the soundtrack and all that kind of stuff. So without further ado, if I can get this open, there we go. Seems like the foil's always, or the wrapper's always the hardest part. Throw that aside. I'm going to push this back just a little bit. Alright, and first thing, something fell off. It was this little slip right here, which tells you it's the vinyl, and it has the track list on the back. And why don't I read through the track list real fast? We got the Prelude, Tifa's theme, Let the Battles Begin, Flowers Blooming in the Church, that's the side A. Side B, Turk's theme, Hurry, Scorpion, Sentinel, and the main theme from Final Fantasy VII. And on the second disc, side C and D, C is Prelude, Opening, Bombing Mission, Tifa's theme, Shinra Inc., Let the Battles Begin, Turk's theme. Side D is Flowers Blooming in the Church, Who Are You, Fight On, Fanfare, The Chase, and the main theme for Final Fantasy VII. And the first thing I notice is the non-remastered album has a lot more songs on it. They have 6 on each versus 4 on each for 8 sides A and B. And that makes me think that, the new remastered songs are going to be longer, which will be awesome. So just like a more orchestrated type thing. All right. Yeah, this black it comes on, I have a feeling this is going to be a magnet for fingerprints, so we try to be careful here. Alright, nice little slipcase here. It's kind of hard to tell which side's the front. And so, the classic Cloud, image of Cloud looking up at the Shinra Tower. And the back side is, we got Sephiroth here. Alright. I'll just leave that out. Oh, it's a trifold. Very cool. I'm not sure what that's supposed to be, but it almost looks like Cloud's sword or something. Very neat. Alright. And something fell out. And it's just a black piece of paper looking like it's there to protect everything. Then in the middle of the trifold is the track listing again. It's in Japanese and English. Alright, and then the last disc is the classic. This is the original image of Cloud looking at Shinra from the street. And on the back, of course, is Sephiroth. And I really like the design on this because it doesn't tell you, there's nowhere on there does it say track A, B, C, D. You can just tell by the artwork of what it is. Alright. So very neat. This is a cool collection here. I can't wait to listen to it. From what I've heard from the demo and everything, the music is fantastic. I was replaying the original Final Fantasy VII on my Switch, and man, the music is just ingrained within me now. And so, just hearing some of those songs of how they originally are still took me way back. And so I can't wait to go on this nostalgic trip with the remake soundtrack orchestrated and just see how that makes me feel. There's such a big emotional difference between an orchestrated soundtrack versus not having one. And I think a prime example is Dragon Quest XI on the Switch with its orchestrated soundtrack, and it's so sweeping and beautiful. And honestly, that makes the game for me is the soundtrack. It just connects the player emotionally with what's going on screen in such a way that like a MIDI soundtrack just could never even touch. And so I can't wait to see if Final Fantasy VII creates that experience that Dragon Quest XI has provided. So without further ado, I'm going to listen to some of these tracks, and I'll be back to let you know how I feel about it. So I'll be right back. All right, and through the magic of time travel, I am back. I have listened to the entire A and B side a few times, and so I'm ready to give my thoughts on it. I think it sounds really good. A lot of people on Reddit were saying that vinyls that have an image pressed on the vinyl itself tend to not sound as good. But I'm not an audiophile by any stretch, but I couldn't tell a difference. It sounded really crisp and clear to me, so that's a big plus. Some of my favorite tracks, I really liked Let the Bombs Begin, Side A, Track 3. That's kind of like the battle theme, and they just really did a great service to that theme. It retains some of the ambient noises that were in the original theme. And, I feel like ambient noises were really popular in the 90s. Like the GoldenEye soundtrack had a lot of ambient sounds. Final Fantasy VII, and a few others that don't come to mind right now. So it's cool to see that that's still in there, because I really liked that about the original battle theme and a lot of the Final Fantasy soundtrack in general. Tifa's theme is great. And I also really liked the main theme of Final Fantasy VII, which was Side B, number 4. And I always thought that was Aerith's theme, and maybe it still is, but that song, even when I originally heard it, like in '97, made me feel nostalgic. So it has this quality to it, the song does innately, that it isn't just because, I grew up with the song, but there's something about it that it almost takes you to like an Old West type of setting, and I really appreciate that. It's very introspective. You got Turk's theme, which I really didn't care for as much. I kind of wish they had replaced that with a different song, but it's there now. And so yeah, overall, like, I really enjoyed it. I listened to sides C and D as well, and I couldn't help but notice that it sounds like we're getting more sounds and more clarity than we did with the original soundtrack on the PlayStation 1. And I know they played the songs through the PlayStation hardware just to save on like memory space on the disc, and I wonder if they didn't have that restraint anymore, and if they could play how the song was meant to sound, like beyond just the limitations of the PlayStation hardware, which is really good for its time. And so I did notice that. I could be wrong. If you know anything about the way sound's produced, leave your comments below. But I'm really just here to vet the substance, not as much of the technical stuff, which I don't know that much about. And I know the composer for the Final Fantasy remake, and his name is lost to me at the moment, but he was in one of these Final Fantasy VII remake video docs on YouTube, and I was watching it, and he was like almost petrified to be the one who was following up on this, this legendary soundtrack. And so he had so much respect for the original soundtrack that it terrified him, and as it should, that to me means this guy has a lot of respect for it, and you can definitely hear that in the soundtrack. It doesn't change as much as it modernizes what is already there, and you could tell the guy has a ton of respect for the original composer. So it's really cool to see that, and just listening to it, I think all you guys are gonna freaking love the soundtrack whenever it releases. On this disc, it's not even like close to being, or on this vinyl, it's not even close to being the complete OST. In fact, we're releasing a 7-disc CD in May, which is going to have all the songs from that. And so I've already pre-ordered that. I'll probably do a unboxing and get my thoughts on that. And I really can't wait to get my hands on it. I got a CD player in my car, and I got an aux output, so I have to use CDs, and usually the CDs I get are from special editions video games. So like right now, I got Xenoblade Chronicles 2 in my CD player in my car, and I listen to it, quite a bit. My daughter has some songs she likes on it. I really like a few songs on it. So it's fun to have these things in your vehicle, or just to be able to listen to them. And so, I'm a huge soundtrack nerd, and having this to my collection is awesome. This Final Fantasy vinyl, I think this is more of a collector's item. I'm not sure how often I'll be breaking it out to listen to, although I don't know, some of these songs are really touching. So maybe I'll listen to this more in some other soundtracks. But yeah, if you got the money to spend, I think it's worth it. But if not, it'll be on Spotify, I'm sure.